Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Combat Corner, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I have an exciting guest for you today. He's coming off of a monster win last week at BKFC Clearwater. We talked to him briefly after the fight. He was rocking the Combat Corner t shirt, which we greatly appreciate. He's in the building. We're going to go do a deeper dive into this man's career. I bring on to you Michael Papa G Larrimore. I got to know where this Papa G comes from, man. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Thank you for having me, brother. But the Papa G thing, really. So I used to be called the Vanilla Gorilla, but then like a million people started using that name. Right? I'm not saying that I came up with it, but when I originally named myself that, I had never heard of it before, and I
Yeah.
saw it pop up a million times. But then I had my first kid, and one of my mentors was like, "Man, you Papa G, bro. You a dad now," and so that's where it came, man.
Okay. Because yeah, there's no name. Your middle name isn't starts doesn't start with a G, does it? So no, I was curious. I'm like, where does that come from?
Yeah.
But man, thank you for coming on today. I appreciate it, man. You had a big time performance last week. God, it was a week ago today. It seems like it was forever ago. It was just a week ago. You want to recap that fight again? You dropped him what four times. He did knock you down as well. I mean, it was back and forth, crazy, exciting, atmosphere in Clearwater. Just thinking about it, have you watched it back on film and just recapping what that was like?
Yeah, I have. I've watched it back more so to see what went wrong, And his knockdown, admittedly, I just didn't have my base under me properly. I
Hmm.
wasn't and I had went to go sit on a jab and I sat into his punch too and just kind of amplified the effect of it, but I was still cognizant of everything. And even the referee, he was like, "Nah, I know you're good, but I got to do the count."
Hmm.
I thought good man, but Ace, I couldn't believe that dude got up three of the four knockdowns, man. I'm looking him in his eyes when he's on his back, and you can see that he's not there, and then he just snapped back too, and he's right back in the fight, dude. That dude's a savage.
So maybe should they rename him the Undertaker or something like that?
Yeah, like he start walking out to the music. To be honest, man.
So I mean, what was it like fighting at home, fighting in front of your family, your home crowd, and the excitement in that building? I mean, what was that like?
It was electric, man. I never get to perform at home anymore, and to be able to do so on such a platform as BKFC was everything I've ever dreamed of because I felt it, man. And the energy felt right all week, even at weigh-ins. You know what I mean? There was a lot of love in the house. And then I hate that freaking walk, man. And it's there's nothing like it, bro. There is nothing like it, man.
You told me it took you 16 minutes to drive to the building, and it would have been 17 if you stopped at the gas station. Did the drive home take a little bit longer? Maybe you stopped for a few beverages or something like that, or an after party.
My homie Andrew, he was just insistent on buying me a meal. So we went 8 minutes down the street and stopped at IHOP, dude. We were the loudest people in. I was trying to keep them. I was like, guys, just fucking relax a little bit. Like there's other people in here. They were more hyped than I was, dude.
It's funny because I mean we're at this bar, and I mean it's a bar, restaurant, museum, and then also fight location. And when I'm there, and they're telling me, well, they stopped serving food at 10 o'clock. I'm like, there's a fight going on. The
Come
hell
on.
you stop serving food at 10 o'clock at night? This is does everything close in Clearwater at 10 o'clock other than IHOP? Because I mean, when they told me that they weren't serving food after 10, I was like, it's Friday. Don't they stay up until like midnight at least?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. The more drunk you get, I feel like the more food you're gonna want to get. So maybe they did it though because it was so many folk, and they're
Yeah,
folks the fuck out of here, get them their beer, whatever, and is I don't know. So like I don't drink. I mean, I drink
yeah,
like a year. So
yeah,
I mean, who knows, bro? I never I've never hung out there. I had a grad
yeah,
there a few years ago, and
yeah.
I was familiar with the venue, but I'm not familiar with the restaurant or anything.
So what got? I mean, coming into let me move it back. Coming into this fight, you suffered a devastating knockout. What? How did you recover from that? And obviously, I'm sure you saw that on film and saw the mistake that may have been made that led to that. How big was it for you? And I mean, obviously, it's very important, but do you just doubt creep in your mind like, damn, like I got caught real bad and now I got to get this W back. This can't be another one. I have to, whatever it is. What was it like recovering from that, getting a win and erasing that from your you can't erase it, but erasing that from the memory.
Right. I think honestly, man, just taking that first uh maybe like month and a half to 2 months to really like sit on it and study it and in the reality of it, man, Keith just caught me. He caught me in the exchange where I just as likely could have caught him. And obviously that was the first and last time anything like that ever happens to me. But it was just a matter of like I had to accept it, which was really easy for me. I don't have an issue with accepting shit like that because at the end of the day, it's bare knuckle boxing. And Keith has also been fighting since I was like 8 years old. So I knew going into it, man, that
Yeah.
was the biggest test I had ever had. And I was just grateful for the opportunity. And I was glad for my health. I was grateful that like I was able to come home safely. I was grateful that he was able to get home safely. And for me, man, I get more confident the more work I put in. And I trained harder for Ace than I did for Keith, which is fucking stupid of me. But um, it definitely lit a fire underneath me, man. It was a healthy thing. I took away what I needed to take away from it. And Keith is an animal, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel like he's necessarily the better fighter than me. He was the better man that night. He might have had the better game plan. And he fucking caught me. It is what it is.
So what was it? I mean, getting that next win, getting that win last week. I mean, that's obviously huge for you and continuing to progress through your career. Um, what brought you to the BKFC? Because I know you have an MMA background as well, and I know you have the goals at some of UFC. You mentioned to me. Um, what brought you to BKFC?
I mean, really, like, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, it was God, right? But my first opportunity was on a 2 day notice. Jihad, my manager, calls me. He's like, "Hey, you know how we do the bare knuckle thing, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course. Like that's why I'm training with you guys." And it was always on my mind. But he's like, "Well, how much do you weigh right now?" And I was like, "Let me hit you with a question. How much do you need me to weigh right now?" And he needed me to make 45 by the next day. And luckily, I was like 10 pounds out. Or I think I had 2 days to make weight. So maybe 3 days total. 2 days to make weight. And I made 45 and then went viral for my first knockout, man. And I love BKFC to say the least. Like it's so much fun, man. It's I love MMA as well, but there's something different about just fucking you get in there, you throw these, you know what I mean? And that's all I gotta worry about too, bro. MMA, you gotta worry about dudes trying to smell your nuts. I ain't guys putting his finger where it shouldn't be. Like guys get weird, bro. They'll do anything to win. You telling me all I gotta worry about is this dude trying to punch me in the face? Sign me the fuck up.
So that first fight with was it Daniel Gary? You took that on 2 days' notice.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Hey man, my second one was also on 3 days notice tops against just what the fuck is that dude's name? Justin Watson. That foe.
Did they lose your phone number or something between fights? They're like, oh shit, we forgot to call you, man. You want to fight on Friday?
Yeah, I'm like, I got time, bro. Sign me up. I ain't doing
I mean,
nothing. Ready?
do you almost? I can't say you. Do you almost prefer it because the higher the level gets, you don't want to have 3 day notice fights. But what do 3 day notice fights do for you? I mean, when you're obviously staying in great shape to make these weights,
Yeah.
but you're fighting at 35, right?
Yeah. Those
Yeah.
two were at 45. And I think Justin, I think we were previously like there might have been a matchup, but we weren't sure about it yet. So I was staying ready anyways. And I was also in the middle of an MMA camp. And so I was already in fight shape. And it was really just a matter of like, who am I fighting? Okay, we can fight. I can fuck. I don't know, man. I love fighting. If you couldn't tell.
Well, how did you get into fighting? I mean, did you fight a lot as a kid? I mean, some people I know fought a lot as a kid, and then I've talked to fighters. Some fighters that say I didn't start fighting till later, and then I just enjoyed. I loved it. It was fun. I mean, I was never much of a fighter as a kid. I mean, I don't want to get punched in the face personally, but it's funny when I started training with a trainer.
Yeah.
a personal trainer, and we would box. And this guy was like 6'3" and like 240, and I'm 5'10", and so my reach, I have a fat neck, so at least I don't get my head knocked off. But it kind of was enjoyable for me to get punched in the head. Might sound crazy, but I mean maybe not. But it was enjoyable. Yeah, I can't hear you.
I say it's true,
Oh,
bro.
okay, yeah. I I but he hit me one time, and I was like, yo, no, I gotta take a couple of days off because I had a headache for like 3 days because I actually have a full time job, and I don't know if he gave me a concussion in that one shot. Do you know from training if you ever been hit to the point where it's like shit, I might need to take a couple of days off because of it?
Oh yeah, I have. Shout out Brandon Allen. That's my homie, but he's been one of them, man. He gets a little excited in sparring sometimes, and he's got a lot of power, man. And he
Yeah,
didn't drop me or anything, but he caught me on a temple one
yeah.
sparring, and I was like, "Hey Jihad, I'm gonna take like 3 days off because if I take like two more of those, I'm gonna have to take 2 weeks off."
So what got you into fighting though? The question. What brought you to fighting just in general in
Yes,
combat sports?
around like middle school, I started dealing with a little bit of bullying, nothing major, like
Hmm.
average stuff that folks deal with. And it around that time, I started seeing like bully beatdown and all it. And my sister and her husband, they had like all of the UFC cards on DVD, right? And so around all this time, like I started watching it all. And then my bully happened to live in my neighborhood. We're great friends to this day. But we you know how dudes get down, we're fighting, we're like, yo, fucking yo.
Yeah.
Uh, and so we had played a game of pickup basketball, me, my cousin, this kid Sean. Sean was the bully at the time, and like four other kids, right? And me and my cousin were really good at basketball, really good at football. So we preferred to just me and him against everybody else. And so it was, I think, like 2 against 4, and we smoked him in the game. And Sean ends the game with like, he said something really stupid, bro. I think he said like, "Whatever, man. Basketball is for dudes with little dicks," or something. Like a schooler would say. We were in 6th grade, bro. We didn't know how to insult each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah," being fucking smart ass as I was like, "You know what your mom said, homie." I remember this conversation to this day, bro. And then we leave the backyard, and he's just, "Yeah, we're gonna fight about it, Mike, but you can't talk about my mom, bro." I'm like, "Well, listen, Sean, we're not in school. I'm not gonna get in trouble. We can do whatever you need to do, man." And he pushes me, and I push him back, and I turn around and looked at my cousin, acted like I was gonna walk away, and I turned back and said, "Smack, smack, bro!" I smacked the fuck out of him, and he did nothing. He
Uh-huh.
kind of, "You really punched me in the face." I was like, "Yeah, stop fuck." Like he was picking on me at school and shit, man. And so after that, of course, my mom came down. I got fucking grounded. I went home that day and started watching Bully Beatdown, man, and then we all started like sparring with each other. And I got to a gym shortly after, and then I started like training hard when I was 15 with my boy
Hmm.
Rogers in Pensacola
Yeah.
under Shadow Box Academy. Rest in peace, Coach Kenny. Rest in peace, Coach Bill. But we would go to spar at Roy Jones Senior's gym twice a week.
Okay.
Like where Roy Jones Jr. got his start, man. And so I got to see that whole shit. And I took my first fight on my 18th birthday. Like, of course, you had exhibitions and stuff, but my first fight was on my 18th birthday, and I finished that guy. And no diddy. I knew what I was gonna do for the rest of my days, bro.
So are you from Pensacola?
I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio, but if you ask me, Pensacola / Tampa is home because Pensacola really kind of like shaped me, and then Tampa polished it off.
Gotcha. So who do you want next? I mean, 3-1, you're among the top fighters in your division. You have a lot of fighters that are there. Is there any particular fighter that you'd like to see next?
Yeah, I have a few in mind, and I have nothing but respect for anybody who does this. So anytime I ask for a fight, there's no malice. It just makes sense for me as a fighter.
Yeah.
I want Chris Garcia. We we offered that one. So we'll see what happens there. Probably crickets, to be honest. Um, I would like maybe like an Abdiel Velasquez. He's tough. He's come,
Okay.
but he's a veteran.
Okay.
Um, who else, man? I would do like
Well, those are two right there. So I mean, how quickly do you want to get back into the ring? I mean, there's a fight card down here in July. Would you want to come down to Hollywood, or do you want to wait a little longer than that?
go to Hollywood, bro. That's actually the one that I'm trying to get on, but they're
Yeah.
finicky about shit. And there's 100 dudes in Miami trying to get on that card, and they kind of handhold them a little bit, if I'm being honest. And I asked for specifically, I asked Chris Garcia in July in Hollywood.
And they have not said anything back yet.
Crickets, man. My coach
Crickets.
steps. That's all I'll say.
Okay. So let me ask you. So when we were talking at the fight, I mean, you speaking a lot about religion and God. Was that something that you were raised, or is that something at some point in your life that you found growing up?
So for me, like I did kind of go to church growing up, but it wasn't really my thing. I was just kind of forced into church. But I knew that I wanted the relationship with God. I knew it specifically after my grandpa Waldo died. I wasn't even necessarily that close with him, but it made me more curious about death and more curious about God and Jesus and everything. And I kind of like I had a rough go of it in my early teenage years, we'll say. And so like around the wrong crowds, you could say, and not in the most safe situations. But I was trying to find my way out of it through fighting because that's all I've ever known. That's all I've ever been good at.
Yeah.
And I was looking for God, man. And then I met my wife, and my wife happened to go to the church that we go to this day. I met my wife. We're about to be together 7 years here in a month. Uh, I might get emotional talking about this, man. But I was looking for God, and he showed up in the form of a pretty little white lady, man. We met on Tinder. We met on Tinder, man, and I thought she was a catfish because she was just way too fine. And I was like, "Nah, you won't pull up to my house." And she pulled up to my little apartment, man, and so God was present in her life, and she walked with the Holy Spirit, and I was really curious about it. And then 2 days after we met, I believe we met on a Friday, and she was like, "Well, I go to this church called Harborside, and I would really like it if you would come to church." And I was in search of God, anyways.
Hmm.
Went to church on Sunday, man, and we got married at that church. My kids are involved in the church. I'm a prayer partner in the church. Like at the end of service, I pray over people, and it's an honor and a privilege to say the least, bro. Yeah, it's God is good.
That's great, man. No, that's a great story because I always ask because I mean I grew up Catholic, my
Yeah,
altar boy the whole nine, but some people find it later in life in different ways, and that's a wonderful story. I mean, looking at the BKFC as a whole, you've seen the BKFC pre Conor McGregor, you now see the BKFC post Conor McGregor. When you look at what the difference is and what he's done for this organization and um, maybe anything that you may have learned from him, watching him in action, because obviously a major part of this is it's promotion, and,
right.
and people shouldn't take things personally and be sensitive about it. You're promoting a fight. People need to watch. That's how you get paid. And if people don't watch the fight, there's no money in the type of thing. So
They don't want to
what?
book you and watch it, man.
Yeah, they don't
Uh,
want to book you. They don't want to book you. You said right?
yeah, bro, you need eyes. Like they're
Yeah.
not there unless they need like a B side replacement last minute. They
Hmm.
want fighters on cards who make money. They want guys who bring eyes, and so
Yeah.
put uh respect. They're not going to put a Daniel Gary on a card like the Clearwater card because they're looking to do something. They're
Hmm.
bring eyes. And Connor, obviously, he's a hell of a promoter, man. But I look up to the fighter version of him the most. Prime Connor, of course,
Yeah.
but that guy for me he was a staple of my childhood, man. And a big takeaway from Connor is like believing in your shit and say it, put it out there. And
Hmm.
what somebody can do is tell you they don't believe in you, and then I get to say, "Well, watch me."
You have a camp that I mean has a lot of big time fighters, right? I mean,
Yeah,
isn't Mundell in your camp? Is Jared Warren in your camp as well?
we have Jared. We have
Uh, Borga, we talked about Borga. I talked to her earlier this week when you told me she hits harder than most guys. Brandon Allen's in your camp. I mean, you have a lot of well-known BKFC fighters in your camp. How does that sharpen you, all of you? How does that sharpen all y'all to get ready for fights? Because it's not like you got to call in sparring partners. You've got partners right there who are ranked amongst the top fighters in the world.
it's really cool because we all just get to bounce ideas off of each other, man, and we all get to encourage each other. Like Borsha will tell you, if she's on pads and I'm watching, I'm cheering her on through her pad round. And when it's my turn to crack pads and I'm tired, she, come on, champ, let's go, champ. We all push each other in there. So whether it's a physical push or it's somebody filling up the fridge with drinks, like there's a camaraderie in there that you don't get in a lot of places. And I'm lucky enough to have that at two gyms.
Okay.
My other gym is just like that, bro. Like everybody takes care of each other. Before this, I was at it's called Team Bamboo. I was at Bamboo's helping one of our amateur guys make weight. We all take care of each other, man. Because last week they were helping me make weight,
Mhm.
and but to be able to train with and train alongside, and even just watch train all of those guys, dude, it's a privilege. Like we're just a little hole in the wall gym, but we just happen to have the best in the world at what we do in the hole in the wall.
Well, it's a pretty good hole in the wall because you have some dogs in the hole in the wall. That's pretty awesome. Honestly, you have Mundell's now fighting, defending his belt. Gosh, what in 4 weeks now, or
Yeah,
something like that. I mean, what is it? Are there differences when you're preparing a teammate to fight for helping prepare a teammate to help fight to defend a title in comparison to not defending a title? I mean, what is are there differences or are there no differences? Just what is it like for that? Because I mean, obviously, you want to come home with your strap one way or the other.
yeah. Honestly, man, we all train like it's a title fight every fight.
Hmm.
We're not training for 5 rounds. We're training for 25 rounds.
Hmm.
But like you lose count of how many rounds you're on in that gym because you're just working and you're doing different stuff. You ain't just on a bag for an hour. You're on a bag for 30 minutes, and then you're doing full work on the cones for 20, and then
Hmm.
you're on pads for 25, and then you're on noodles, and then you're shadow boxing in the mirror. Like we put in work, man, and then sprint work on the weekends, strength and conditioning on top of it. We all train like world champions, and that's why we all will be world champions.
So fighting at the OCC, you have. Did you ever watch that show back in the day, the Orange
Or
County Chopper?
I
You
reckon
know,
mustache sitting ringside. Of
he was
course.
sitting right there. Tuttle was sitting right there. I remember watching that show all the time, and you know, maybe Dave Feldman next time you guys fight at that location, the fight of the night gets a chopper.
Yo, that would be fucking, bro. Come on.
I remember watching that show all the time and watching them build those bikes. And I mean, I had a bike for a second. I'm petrified. I mean, it's funny. I got one in a midlife crisis, rode around it. I enjoyed it, but I found
Yeah,
myself, it's so damn hot down here that I got to put on 18 layers of clothing just to get on the bike because you might burn your legs up and burn and melt the hair on your legs and melt your skin. And if you're not dressed properly, although I've seen guys wear flip flops to ride a motorcycle, which is crazy, but you know, eh, I'm sitting there and I'm like, people down here in South Florida are too crazy. Like they don't know how to drive a car. I'll be riding normally and I'm gonna have someone smash right into me or something like that. But I had a bike for a second, but those bikes that they would make are so dope. I mean, and I think that would be a great prize for a winner of a fight of the night winner in Clearwater at the OCC because I know they mentioned they want to do that a couple of times a year there. Would you be down for to fight there every single time you could fight there?
absolutely, bro. Give me the pound advantage 10 times out of 10, bro. I'll fight my back. I'll fight my front yard. I don't give a shit. Come on, man. Sign me up.
What is the location of a fight that I mean, if you could picture the dream location for a fight. I mean, they're going all over the world now. They've been in Dubai. Did you go to Dubai with Brandon Allen?
Nah, man. Fuck
No.
that.
Yeah. So Dubai, they went to Italy, they went to Spain. They're in UK all the time now. What location would you would be that fight place where you're like, I want to fight here? That's a dream fight location.
Madison Square Garden, my dude. I want MSG sold out, and I want people yelling Papa G at the MSG. Let's fucking go.
That's gonna be a T-shirt, man.
But say that, bro. Yeah,
Papa G at the MSG. That's a T-shirt right there.
yes, sir. Papa G at the MSG. It was meant to be. Yeah,
Are you a rapper?
get me. You know what I'm saying?
Are you a rapper? Do you rhyme?
I can guess so, bro. Shit.
You just did, man. But I appreciate your time here. But what is your message to the BKFC fans and to whoever your next opponent is, whether it's Chris Garcia or whoever? What is your message to everybody out there?
First and foremost, if you don't have Jesus in your life, get Jesus in your life yesterday because Jesus loves you and he paid the ultimate price for you and me. And to the rest of the division, I still got a lot of work to do. But Alberto Blas, I respect the shit out of you. I am the champion. It might not be around my waist yet, but it is inevitable that I leave this organization with that belt around my waist. I'm the best. Simple as that, brother. God bless.
Folks, that is Michael Larrimore. He's Papa G.
At the end,
Michael Papa G. Larrimore. I appreciate you so very, very much jumping on with me today. Folks, if you don't know who he is, you're going to find out real soon. We'll link his social in the description. Follow him on his social media. Again, we'll link it in there. I appreciate you so very much. Everyone, this is Combat Corner, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.
Up and down through the blood and the sweat. Guarantee you can know I'm a threat. Up and down.